I've been meaning to do this talk for a long time, and I wanted to do it during the day, but something was like, somehow the moment, like the coziness of in the nighttime is just so right to share. Like the moment is kind of willing. Like this kind of things I'm going to say, I've always kind of noticed them in hindsight, but I've put them aside. So now, since they've come together in meaning and sense, I was like I'm putting it out there, like, am I the only one who's noticed such, but never really, you could have never even thought to it, like read too much into it until I say what I'm about to say, and you're like, but yeah, it makes sense. And to some, yeah, it might even help you, you know what I mean? Like help you in a sense, yeah, it could help many, like not miss their destinies, where their soulmates or whoever they're meant to be with it concerns. You know what I mean? Hey, the downside is like, hey, I better not be teaching an enemy how to settle down with someone I like, God forbid. But anyway, we like there comes a time in life where if it makes sense to share something, why not? You know what I mean? We've also heard things many a times in life that has made sense to our lives and has blessed us in turn, and we would wonder, why would a stranger like just bless us like that with such information that just clicks and makes sense, right? But yeah, we all have that moment. But anyway, like, have you heard these kind of words, like, where this has to be like this whole talk relates to being accepted into someone's family. And I don't know in other contexts, but I'm going to speak it from a Black context. And it could apply to many other families as well, but I wouldn't know. But you know what I mean? Mostly in a Black context, where, let's say, maybe you want to settle down, you want to just be with this person, and then you get someone, like, you get these words like, hi man, you know what I mean? Like, there's something about adults, né? The kind of families that we girls are gonna marry into someday, we don't know. I mean, each to their own, you know. It's gonna be different families. You don't have to take the scope. I'm not a professional, but I do notice this stuff, and this kind of pieces of information can make sense to many people. But you know, each to their own. You have to find out where now in this very family you're gonna be in, what they prefer. Hence why the topic, I've placed it that to some it's a taboo, some it's an acceptance method, some of them it's an engrafting method. So fine. Ne? Meaning there is a certain, you find certain idea what kind of family you're going into, what is expected of you, or the role you're gonna play. There's different families and different means or ways of acceptance, and we put about katimana, right? And here could be the reason why, like, everything we do in this life, whether we are aware or not, like, it's noticed. Others depends what kind of backgrounds you are, it's recorded, however way you want to take it. So even those moments you feel like you're in an age of promiscuity or whatever the case is, it might not be the way you envision it. Even if you're in the season or time, it's like sometimes it's a matter of, let's say, sometimes, yes, you meet a guy and then they're scanning you out, and then they bring different characters of people that you're going to meet, and depend, not only friendliness, it goes to deep extremes or high extremes, where you meet these different characters, but they carry different members of the family. So they were meant to engraft themselves to you, but then you and then not only being mean, but you didn't connect to them in a sense, and it's like, hey, I atiman, next minute you're not accepted in this family and you don't understand why. That's because you probably missed. And usually when that course, when others may view it as wrong or indecent or whatever, judge you, but usually when you're over the season, what happens then you become officially engrafted into the family, and it's like you've collected the updated version of certain family members, and now you somehow even blessed to start having children. There's something about you that you're in a state of wholeness and maturity where that family is concerned. This one is going to shock you. So number 2 is that To some, it may be a taboo. Sometimes you come from such a family as a girl. They like that by nature, but you're marrying into now a conservative, this kind of family that just, they don't behave in that manner. It's not their likelihood. It's not who they are. It's just taboo. It's just wrong. You don't do that. You behave decently. Even if they do whatever shitty things they do, you would never tell. That's that kind of family. Like they uphold a certain stature and a certain reputation. There's just some things that can be known and obvious. It's a taboo. So that could be a challenge from a girl who's coming from this kind of other family. It's tricky. These things are tricky, but each to their own. Right? And this one is kind of weird, but I've picked it up and it's true. Whether I wouldn't want to allow it, but something about it is true. I've come to discover it. I've taken time and I was like, I think this is it. And it's so wrong. Like, for example, there's other people who've come to master the art of geniusly modifying a person's body. Let's say if they see like you're beautiful, but they like, I wish you were taller or thicker. They can send you a man to be with a girl of a structure that they want you to have. For him to go take that. It's like, it's no different from changing clothes. I'll go into that topic some other time in detail. It's no different from that. And they want to engraft you. And if you miss the point, you might actually think that the family wants this guy to cheat. But it's not the case. They are seeing that we want to engraft this part of this person into you so that maybe you look, I don't know, however way they want or prefer you to look like. Isn't that tricky? That is like, downright, when you don't understand this, that's like, you just see evil bunch of people trying to be evil. Why would you do that? Like, can't me and my partner decide, what if I want different? You know what I mean? Like, what if my partner like me because I'm this way? You know what I mean? And these kind of things should just gradually change over time. And then generally, this is just generally what comes into my mind. And then sometimes I get those guys, I'm not even, like, there's something about me. There's seasons where I feel like, okay, no, I'm not up to par. Maybe I'm not eating well and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't get easily insecure, but I have moments of feeling insecure. Like, I have filters and I have moments where I'm like, hey, there's going to come a time I'm going to take these filters away and I'm going to be real and people are going to be like, oh, this is you. I don't look wrong, but I don't look like the filters. But anyway, it's this thing where these young guys, usually they forget, when you think marriage material or settling down, they'll usually think this black, especially in a black context, Bundaki, she has to be thick and be this, be that. Remember, even your own parents, they were once looking young and they got married. It's even better or fresh looking because that means she has not been everywhere. She's not bringing forces or power because usually whenever thick and whatnot, sometimes they got so many guys jealous over them that you end up being in trouble. If you're willing up for the challenge, happen there's some men who are, maybe that's what proves a man. Or can you catch or court such a woman and keep all the men away? Can you take up the challenge? Maybe it's a different family, each to their own. So you'd never know. These kind of things happen. But people gradually grow into these different bodies at different phases of life. You know what I mean? You don't have to meet a girl and expect her to be thick like that's how a woman... She might be the skinniest, but gonna be the most thickest of women after children. You never know. People would change over time. It happens. This whole engrafting thing, sometimes you are medium short and someone wants to engraft taller. Others might engraft a giraffe into you. You never know. Or the stature of a tall person. It happens. It's taboo. We grow up, we notice these things. I notice and I'm like, life is very weird. But seriously, if you're going to do such a thing, it only makes sense for people to solidify themselves before you bring in this different dynamics, I would think. Because sometimes you could think someone is trying to tempt someone with something. A certain kind of load of a woman, like she has this load and then next minute is like she has to be caught up like who? Like, oh, but that experience was awesome, but she's on another tip, These things are tricky. But yeah, it is kind of necessary to share. I hope you find this useful. for your life in some way. Okay, happy Friday. Okay, a rather interesting flipped side to take note of. This is very interesting. I mean, we come from a game era, which is still a game era. I've put emphasis on the fact that I am not out for anyone's son, right? So now taking note that there's different ways, manners in which people engraft new members, be it in-laws, especially in-laws, into their own families. It takes a lot, as you can see. So the next sensible thing to say is that never put anyone, no matter how you like them, you could love them or they could be liked, never put anyone's child through any processes without their awareness. Because it may seem like it's fitting, I have it all in mind, I know how it's going to play out, and maybe this is the manner in which it happens, but they're not aware. It's not going to end well, because the person could end up really going from like to resentment, literally hatred, deep stemming, because there's just some things we as human beings we might want some things, but there's certain levels of compromising that a person can take, and others they will say literally, this one I wouldn't even have been willing to do such a thing, because I can go on about this other family involves dying, literally, to be woken up to be a part of that family. I personally wouldn't want that kind of a family. I'm very sensitive. I wouldn't want to go through such a process. I'm sorry. I don't undermine anyone's son or anyone's anything. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I don't think I deserve to be in such a state, so much of myself, just to belong to someone else. I'd rather, I don't know, if they can't come up with plan B, then I'll cut myself out, and I would never regret it. Yes, maybe I'll have moments that, oh, God, it would have been me, but I will never regret such a thing. Secondly, like I said, even if in that promiscuous phase and different peoples are sent, what if you and your partner have some sort of, at some point, have made a decision that we don't want to add weight, meaning we don't want to add weight to the child because maybe we might not want to give the child the rite of passage to life. Because why collect all such valuables of weight from different members to engraft to the child? Because that means once that child is born, that auntie, that uncle, that granddad, that grandma might want to fight for the child. Be like, this child represents me, this child is not going anyway. And what if your plans didn't plan out like that? Well, but with so much weight to the child. So it wouldn't be advisable if you don't want to give the child the path of life, rite of passage to life. It's not really advisable. Thirdly, I've said these points before, but if I've broken them into just like 3 parts, then it's fine. Thirdly, sometimes there's a spirit that I get ever since this whole competing situation. There's spirits where I'm dealing with the spirit in just a recent year or so. There's a spirit where this person or these people find the need that, let's say whatever you have with someone, it's new. It's only building now. It's only building just now. And they want to almost be mediators. That's why I'm sharing personal details of things that I'm picking up with family. Where we speak about family, there's different dynamics. There's just sensitivity. So with that said, I keep on emphasizing each to their own. So there's people who find they need to play mediators. Well, but as I'm making this video, I heard someone pausing saying something. It was not necessary, because I don't think you know these people, and whatever I should find out myself. I'm sharing this generally, but I don't expect someone to be shouting things at me. I would want to hear it from a specific people. But anyway, things like that. They want to be mediators. They almost go to that family and want to find out, go to the mother, or want to ask questions on their behalf. No, we're not trying to have a frenzy, a welcome, whatever for many people. It's something personal. It's something between, it's personal matters. In integrating of 2 families is not something very, it's like they say, it's a marriage. It's something very deep and sacred. It's a covenant on its own. So we can't have, so people like, these are sensitive things, and they ought to be handled as such. This thing, you have a mediator, Mot is playing a mediator. going to someone's mom, it's not, you're out of turn, especially if you're not representative of the uncle. If I was saying, yeah, can't play the uncle, I'm gonna pay you, play the uncle, then you can intervene. But if you not know where that is necessary, where that relationship is necessary, don't do that. And some also with this whole interfering people coming in between people's relationship, others, let's say you still in the new phase, people are getting in the frequency of competing, they've been up in people's lives, businesses, like they've been welcoming themselves and doing as they please. There's some other people who want to recruit people to their journeys, meaning when you're a couple, there's some people who just want you to live their journeys. But like, it goes back to that other topic I spoke about, we go in different directions, we are in different professions, we can't just integrate ourselves or be integrated. Sometimes you find out your time is wasted with a certain someone for things to be in progress because other people want to do whatever you're not aware, but these people have their own things in mind and you have to figure it out somehow. There's just so many people who are, life can be very simple, there's just some people who can make life very complicated. So I've always said these things, but I had to bring them down to 3 points because I have to make emphasis on this. It's like some things are just irritating. Some things you need to be welcomed, people. You need to be welcomed. A person, you must see that they're acknowledging you. They want to take you in as their mentor and they want you to guide them in this marriage thing, love life thing, whatever the case is thing. You know what I mean? You just don't jump in or want to nominate yourself, or you know what I mean? It complicates people's lives because some people's lives are that simple. Whatever dues they paid, maybe they've already paid, and then somehow you delay and derail the whole thing because someone wants what they want. But how do you go into a covenant on the basis of not even communicating with someone? Is there any sense to it? So guys, I don't want to know whose family right now likes me, pink, blue, black, dark, brown. Please, if I've said it, firstly, I'm not in any competition for anyone's son. Secondly, so from that which I've said, I don't expect anyone to be wanting to intervene in my relationship unless any kind of relationship, should I even have it, and should we'll decide whatever we decide from ground up, instead of having different people, because you have different people. This one will take you to this direction, the other wants this, others you find that the girl is married to this kind of people, not even from family, the guy to that. If the guy is with that, married to this particular person, they might want someone else. They might not want this girl who's associated with this because they might ruin the plans of us being that. Because I know the aim we have is that, but she's married to the type of people that require that. It might clash the whole equation of, a union, two working as one. You know what I mean? So people, please, let's just stay in. There's a whole lot of recruiting in the season as well of marriage. It makes sense if in a time of a space of marriage, there's a whole lot of confidence happening. Let a person choose you. Don't throw yourself or engraft yourself to people you don't know. People are claiming to know people. It's crazy. Let people choose you. Let a person come to you and say, I have a problem. I choose you. I want you to be my mentor. I want this. I want that. Let people choose you. People are complicating people's lives right now. It's not on. Others will not mind the chaos, especially if it's people who don't know what they're doing or what to do with their lives. They won't see the difference. What the heck? I mean, this person is powered. They have money. They can take me anyway. Aimless people will not even have a problem, but some people who are calculative, they wouldn't appreciate such stunts pulled at their lives. It's a bit too much. So please consider this flip side, people. Like, really, just let's know our places where people's lives are concerned. It's not being mean, it's not being rude. If I can come to a point of saying it, at least there's truthfulness to some degree in what I'm saying. So there's no two-facedness with what I'm saying. It's out there, it's honest, it's in your face. You can't forget such a thing. So yeah, I think no. Yeah, that should be a night. Some things can be very, yeah. I had to share this. And at times, if he's really obsessed with you, like, I want to get each to their own. Don't categorize your life according to this. I could be so on point and I could totally miss it. Each to their own. Sometimes he could love you so much that he overrides whatever you had to qualify you to be a part of their family, and they end up building new standards. It happens. You should think about that part. Because I really don't understand how, like, ya go swela someone gore o tsosiwe and then be a part of someone's family. I could never get it. Just because I'm playing a Tswana song, I'm not implying anything. towards any Tswana guy or whatever. No. Like, imagine, like, hey, man, like, seriously, put some sense into this. I'm a like me wa bana ba gago type of thing, right? So how do you go to a point where to break a person to the point where like, I don't get the ideology behind that. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. I can't. Like, I don't understand what kind of love I would want to have for someone's son or child to be able to enjoy that part. Because I feel like if they want to nurture you, take care of you because you have to take care of them, not harm you. No, I don't get that part. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I had to break it down because somehow it could come across that I'm being insensitive. But we have to respect this means of confident or integration to different families because it is what it is at the end of the day. But I personally, I really don't want to know, son. It's not happening, not over here. That is just something way too risky. Way risky. I don't understand why Tonsiki pay at a risk like that or be put at a risk like that to be accepted. I don't want to know what rank of money they on. It's not happening. Not that part. I could never be at fault. You can even ask me until said 2 a.m. or something and ask me the same thing. I would never consider for such a thing. I would never. Personally, I would never. That's why I get people, please. Know the limitations. They gotta sometimes the requirements for different families gotta state you. You need to, but more honaki, I give a little qualify. And you make clear that more I give a little qualify. Don't even consider me. Aki wanimar. Well, some things are too much, but I give a little corner. Nox. You get those who do things in advance, like almost like this prepaid favors to pin you down to them because with different families and different power rankings, they have different ways of trying to impress. And let's say that, I'm not in this kind of situation, but that's what you tend to deal with when you're dealing with power. Hence why I said to some girls, stop playing. These things get very serious. And usually in this case, you are so overly irritated by these things, but they keep bringing their gifts to the family. Like tangible gifts. You see people always coming, bringing the gifts or the guy in question. And that's where it gets more awkward because it's almost putting you in a corner. And it's usually those type of situations where the parent cannot withdraw. We've seen it in movies where a parent starts behaving funny. Hey! And you're like, why are you being difficult like this? I mean, you should be on my side. You're the parent. And the parent is just being unreasonable. I cannot relate. I don't even want, God forbid, such a situation. That's the worst of situations. Because if, let's say, in the same rankings of power, then, yeah, if my daughter does not want you or my son does not want you, whatever the case is, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But mostly when it's different scales of power, which is the other one being below, they behave very weird. So that's why I get it. Nah, please. I keep emphasizing this because it seems like I say so many things in English and then suddenly it goes alien language. I speak gibberish or I'm not heard. And some people are still integrating me somehow, me personally, not even an image. So it gets to me. It really gets to me. Anyway, be tribe.